Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Good morning. Happy Monday, guys. How was your weekend? Hope everything's cool and you're having a great start to the week. We're going to get things started very shortly. Just going to make sure this is coming. This is showing up on Facebook Live as well. So as soon as I can see that. Okay, perfect. It's going to take a few moments. And just wait. Yep, I can see that now. Perfect. So, guys, a lot popping. Excuse me, a lot popping as usual in the markets. But I'm just gonna, before I get started, I'm just gonna wait for you guys to just a few more to roll in and be able to start. So yeah, it's been a week, man. Can't believe it already. It's been a week since Nipsey's death. I mean, the time's just flown. Still shaking about it, but yeah, we've got to continue the marathon. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, I'm gonna get started very shortly now. Waiting for you guys to roll in. Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna get started now, actually. And yep, cool. So, Bitcoin, interesting point in the market right now. So, yeah, it's still got its dominance, 50.8% last time I checked. Market's about, was it 179 billion dollars total market cap. 91 billion for Bitcoin, and price is still managing to hold on to the level. There's still support there. So currently, what, $5,189 or something like that. It keeps changing, obviously. Up by over 1%. In the last 24 hours. Ethereum's been pumping. I mean, they've been gaining and holding on to the momentum that they've experienced so far. So that's good news. But it's a bit of a mixed market, actually. I think it looks bearish by far from what I'm seeing. It's mostly in the red. Tron has been doing really well due to some fundamental developments, which I'll speak on. I think that's up by 9. It was 8 something percent last time I checked, but I think it's up by 9 now, over 9%. In the last 24 hours. Tron is a decentralized application platform. Excuse me. So this podcast, there was a podcast done by the CEO and founder, Justin Sun, and he had made several announcements that sort of excited the market a bit. This was just a Saturday gone, 2 days ago. And he was basically saying and hinting that a collaboration with Ethereum will be in the works, later this year. But he didn't give much details right now. So that's one thing. Development. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning. It's like 4 something p.m. here. I'll probably need like a little tea and something. Anyway, so yeah, there was confidence return back to the market. So whenever you get any sort of specific news relating to the development, whether it's to do with the testnet, mainnet, partnerships, anything that sort of ticks off the box in terms of development on their roadmap, it does have a short-term pump in terms of the price. There's a short-term pump in positive sentiments being expressed. However, it'll be interesting to see if that will be, it depends on the rest of the market as well, especially with Bitcoin where it is right now. So I think it's a short-term pump for now. It really depends if the bulls decide to hold strength, hold their position in the market. And I think Bitcoin right now is looking to do more corrections, which I'll break down Bitcoin a bit later on. But yeah, so based on that, I don't think it's going to hold on Tron's price pump right now, because usually when they have any developments, it tends to be short-lived. It has to be seen in the context of the wider market and their position in the space. But it's very good news, and I think they're 11th place by market cap. So they're doing well. There've been, some good developments with Tron, and it's only going to get better. So they also mentioned that the Tron base, I don't know why are you, excuse me guys, I'm sorry. The Tron based version of stablecoin, so Tether, they're gonna have a Tron based one, and they're set to launch April the 9th. Yeah, it will be cheaper, it will be faster in terms of transactions. It will be faster than the USDT version, the Omni protocol one. But yeah, it's good news. Again, especially if you're a Tron fan, Tron investor. So their fans are absolutely crazy, like Ripple fans, but Ripple investors. But it's all good. It's all good. I like their works, and they're looking to also expand the Sun network as well. So they've got a second layer scalability solution, and I think the testnet as well. That's going to be launched late May. I think it's the 30th of May. And yeah, it's going to be developing DApp side chains as well, cross-chain infrastructure, and working on some smart contracts as well. And basically, the idea is just to increase the capacity of the network. Really, it's just in terms of making sure the dApps are able to run as well with low energy consumption, and have they're also targeting the security as well. They're looking to beef that up and improve that. So anything like any of these projects, like with Ethereum as well, anything to do with scalability in terms of like being able to handle more transactions and being able to process data faster, and bringing down costs and increasing efficiency. I mean, that's a great development. So anything that pertains to the actual, the helping to improve the improving the user experience, but also making the network more structurally sound and more efficient, I think that's great news. So good for Tron, good for investors, good for everyone, and good for the industry as well. So I like when those sort of news, anything to do with mainnet, testnet, mainnet, partnerships, and any sort of thing that helps to increase its user its usability. So anything that makes the transaction and the experience as seamless as possible, then yeah, I definitely help that will help to increase the value long term, and certainly the user experience is improved, and that is going to be appreciated by the community, and certainly helps in terms of the infrastructure that's been built, and help to improve the ecosystem as well. So yeah, that's great. Anything that reduces energy consumption, guys, in this day and age where we are right now, we definitely need to watch that, and anything that helps to increase efficiencies is definitely positive, as a bonus, and they're keeping on track with their roadmap with that. So yeah, so what did I say before as well? So in terms of smart contracts as well, they'll be looking to launch the side chain smart contracts. What was this? think it's going to be during the first phase, the 30th of May. So yeah, so they're looking to that, and then on top of that, the security aspect of it will be will be set to be enhanced. It's sometime mid-August. I think it might be the 9th or no 10th. So they're looking to increase the efficiencies in use, and in terms of making it more decentralized and more efficient, more secure. They're really going for the key aspect of the network that affects not just the price, and it's more to do with the integrity and the function of it, and making sure that will be able to, that they've got long-term vision on this. So they want to be able to expand capacity, and making sure that that's robust and secure and easy to use. So that will help to lend to, make expansion better for them. So obviously they do have, increased user base, an expectation of that. So they have to, you have to build it, you have to continue to expand on the good works that you're doing before you can be able to handle the extra capacity, the extra transactions and extra activity on the network. So yeah, it is just going to become more robust, and we'll see that in the long-term price appreciation as well. That's expected from that. So anything to do with optimizing any type of processes, any type of increase in features, adding features, guys, that helps to increase its real-world use case. It definitely strengthens the arguments for these type of projects that look to work on the actual, what do you call it, work, put in the work and building the foundation, and making sure it's set for any type of expansion or any type of challenges that may come in the future. So yeah, definitely in terms of increasing these functions, it's on point, guys. So that's Tron. And if you've been investing in Tron for, was it since January, February, I think you'd be, I don't know how many gains, it depends on which price point you come in, but certainly if you've been investing over the last 3 months in Tron, I'm sure you're in profit now. You've got gains. Your funds have been, your portfolio has got a good appreciation, some good gains there. So congratulations if you're a Tron holder or investor or trader as well. So in terms of, I think Ethereum as well did pump over 5%. I'm not sure what that is now, but when I looked at it earlier, about an hour ago, that was pumping too. So in terms of Bitcoin, guys, it's gonna be, this is the point. If you're a trader, you'd be like, okay, if you're looking at the weekly close, the candle close, and the market was waiting to see where that would be. And it's looking kind of bearish right now, right? Like this is another crucial area that we're at. So obviously we've seen the initial excitement and the sentiment of the positive noises and the sentiment in the market, and then that initial breakout got people questioning and wondering, okay, have we reached a bottom? Is this the beginning of a bull run? We get that question millions of times. When is it gonna be the bottom, even though we can't time it? But yeah, Bitcoin is in the process of establishing that bottom. And I mean, already, if you take a look at the charts, it seems that 3,100 and something seems to be the bottom, and the volumes over the last 3 months, the activity since the beginning of the year, it's actually been increasing, and the number of transactions, the volumes, and other factors making the case for potential floor that's been established, and really hard, really solid support at that area for Bitcoin. And so now we're at the stage where it has to, it broke that 5,300 resistance again, but it needs to sort of hold on to that short-term support like that where we are. I think it's now, I have to update the price to see, but 5,200, it needs to hold on to that area there. It's acting as a short-term support right now. If it falls below, if it goes to 5,000, that's going to be putting a little bit of a damper on the party, so to speak, for the bulls. Okay, so it really needs to do that good work right now, where it's holding off, potential sharper correction. So going back down to 4,500, for example. So it needs to hold on to the volume, hold on to the momentum at where it is right now. And it seems to be bouncing right now. And potentially we may see, look to range, go sideways and consolidate. But yeah, it needs to hold on to that area, stay above 5,000 basically, if it wants to then build momentum to try and go for that 5,800, 6,000 mark. The 6,000 is what the market's really watching for, where in my opinion, I think that will establish and confirm it's an uptrend and it's bullish. But again, it's all to do with momentum and sustaining that momentum. And one of the things I look for is volumes. But right now, it's sort of bouncing along right now. Because there's still some bearish pressure going on, and people are looking to see, okay, is this going to be the actual sell-off that we're waiting? Like, there has to be some sort of correction. The market will do whatever it wants it, obviously, but it's now the way it's moving, it's suggesting that it could potentially correct down to 5,000, and then potentially, if that doesn't hold, it could. You know how we've seen the way Bitcoin moves, and the patterns that have been established over the last 5 years. So you can see certain things keep on repeating again and again. In terms of pattern, I'm not saying like something that has happened in the past will definitely happen in the future just based on looking at charts, but certainly we can see how it behaves. It's giving us clues as to how it will act out. So if it breaks down, it could break down violently. If it, we've seen those wild swings and fluctuations, it's famed for its high volatility, right? So we're looking to see. So the market's a bit cautious, wondering, okay, what's the bears' next moves? Okay, what are they going to do now? So they need to, people that are buying Bitcoin right now, I mean, it's good. It might be several combinations that's holding it that way. Also, the level of FOMO, it hasn't gone in too strong actually, but just it'd be interesting to see where this goes in terms of, like, is it going to retest back to just the 5,000? Will it go there and then really build momentum and volume, and to be able to then go on another push towards to test the resistance again, previous resistance points. But yeah, the market's a bit cautious right now. If you're a trader, especially if you're a long-term investor, you don't care too much about what's going on right now. You just want to be able to accumulate at different price points, do dollar cost averaging, which will help to give you peace of mind over the long term. With the anticipation of price appreciation based on many factors, but certainly fundamentally, we know from all the research and stats that we see and the evidence collected, that there's huge potential upside, and it is expected for another bull run to, when that does happen, this time it will supersede the one that we saw in 2017. and that there's several factors that make that bull run different from the one that we're going to experience. I believe this one's going to be much better in terms of the. Remember, I told you the rate of adoption, awareness, network effects, number of transactions, ID verified wallets, Bitcoin machines, like literally structural wise, there's a lot of developments happening, patents, partnerships, different facilities and different things that make it more easier to and what do you call it? Easier to use, easier to integrate, but it's also providing a more better experience and more payment merchants are in their in their growing numbers accepting it as a form of payment as well, online and offline. So there's a lot of things happening, and Bitcoin halving is coming up next year, May 2020. That's looking to as we've seen with previous Bitcoin halvings, price tends to appreciate, and it tends to happen subsequently from that point onwards. From the May 2020, it's expected for the next 12 months. Within that next 12 months, that price will be appreciating, will be going up. So in anticipation of that, the market hasn't fully priced in. It usually happens either closer to the time or within 12 months after that, based on the historical movements. But again, this cycle that we're in and the industry's development overall, it's a different ball game, guys. It's a lot more mature. It's a lot more involved. Like many players are involved, and a lot of investments have been poured into this area. So we're expecting it to be a lot more solid, and a lot more more players are in there. So it's expected this one. I know the FOMO levels will be super high. It'll be higher than 2017 bull run. So because everyone's just been absolutely jaded with the bear market, waiting. It's like the little kid in the back of the car asking, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Has it bottomed out yet? Is it time for a bull run yet?" Like we hear it over and over again, and so the bulls need to hold on to where they are right now. The volumes must be sustained. And they need to find fresh momentum. They need to be able to find more energy to be able to make another push up. And so that will be something to watch out for. So 5,000, it needs to hold on to that. It needs to stay above that 5,000 level. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, it's definitely going to be the probabilities of it then correcting sharply will actually increase. And so, yeah. And also, if you look at the weekly on the Bitcoin chart, if you look at the weekly time frame, you'll see that it's actually overbought, and it has been. In fact, right now where we are, it hasn't been this overbought since the beginning of the bear market. So if you remember when price was 20,000, its all-time high, set a brand new record. Back then, if you look at the chart, I think everything was saying it's overbought at that point. Every time frame was saying that. But yeah, so if you look at where it is right now with that, it's actually showing. If you use RSI stock, you'll be able to see that it's actually overbought. So yeah, we have to see if the market side, like the question now is like, okay, the bears are planning to make their move, but when is it that they feel like, just like we saw the breakout being triggered, it wasn't fundamental, it was purely technical, and it was ranging for quite some time. It was consolidating a whale or a group of traders decided we're going to set it off right now, and obviously as it went up, there were some people that put on buy stops that triggered it off, and that added up to the orders, the buy order, and the way it moved and the sudden injection of that volume. So the market sort of shocked the bears, as you can imagine, with that sudden positive sentiment. So yeah, I mean, it was sort of expected. We were waiting for some sort of breakout to happen, breakdown or breakout. But it was increasingly the case based on the increase in volumes, momentum. If you look at the price for the last 3 months on the larger time frames, it's actually been going up, and the transactions on the ground in the industry has actually been going up. So we were just, and also it once it surpassed that what was it, EMA 200 as well, that indicator. On the daily time frame. I mean, people who put their orders around that point as well, it just set off a party basically. It was a good time for anyone that made. If you're a trader, if you made profits on that move, congratulations. Yeah, watch out for that 5,000. If it corrects suddenly and it go, I mean, we've seen it happen before where it loses several hundreds of dollars within the space of minutes, or even within a few hours, it can drop dramatically. Easily 100, 200, 300 dollars, just like that. We've seen it move $500, 1,000 in one day. So it can come very, very suddenly. If you remember when it was holding on to that 6,000 last year, it was failing to breach that 6,000. It was a critical support. A lot of people thought, no, I ain't gonna break 6,000, for several reasons. And the market did it in dramatic fashion, and suddenly within a very short time, we saw it go down to 4,000, and then at some point bottom out at 3,100 or something. So I like the fact that it's still holding on to where it is. It seems to have some relative support there, but so what we've basically been seeing is that each time the bulls have been trying to push up, just trying to get that momentum going again and get it up to that 6,000, that key level. The bears have been coming in with this whales or traders, or the overall market is just literally they've been trying to. It's basically like what do you call it? Bull traps. So they're pumping up the market to be able to trap retail investors, thinking that okay, it's bearish now, let's go and let's trade, let's buy it. And then that's that volatility is great for traders. They can make money off that quickly, and because it happens within a short period of time, and the way Bitcoin moves, the price behavior, the price action, people are able to spot these patterns and be able to take advantage of that timing and go in and scalp and actually capture that movement, short-term movement. So anyone that's trading and looking to, you already know this, but just to explain to others, whenever there's a bit of a push up, you have to be very cautious and make sure that there's ways to distinguish whether it's actually we have to look for more confirmations and confluences to be able to confirm, okay, that's a real, like if it's making a higher high, like if price keeps climbing up and establishing a uptrend that is going upwards, and it's healthy to have corrections as well, but to have it consistently demonstrate that there's volumes coming into the market. These are real people that are buying these Bitcoins and helping to pump up the price. But then you have the actions of the sellers, I mean, again, it depends on what part of the cycle we're at. They'll be looking to take opportunities or create opportunities and manipulate the market in ways that will be able to get advantage of, take a part of the attraction, as I said, is volatility. So pumping up and creating that extra volatility. It's an artificial move. And, this is why we have to check as well to see, was that the catalyst sent off, was it set off by any news, any developments in the space? And sometimes it is the case, but you'll see with trading, if sometimes it's just based on pure technicals and just people looking to take advantage and create scenarios where they'll be able to have that extra volatility, fool the retail traders into thinking, actually, this is a pump, this is a bullish move, and they come in buying, and then they get to sell it off, they get to short. And so this is why the market's, watching the sell orders, watching the sentiment, and see whether there's actual real sustained volumes and momentum behind that. And definitely developments and news reports in the industry does have an impact, but really right now, because of to a degree, price manipulation, people looking to find any opportunity to, and sometimes the way things operate as well, like with news, it's not really that sometimes the news that triggers it, but they use that, market makers and Wells would use that event to trick people into thinking, okay, because of that news, it's pumping or it's dumping or whatever. And then they sort of fool you into thinking that it's going in one way or, or another way, or a particular direction. And then suddenly you find that there's a massive, dump, or there's a breakout, and it's crazy. As I'm talking as a trader here, if you're I'm speaking to the traders here, but if you're long term, you're investing long term and you're hodling, right now, all you're going to be caring about is, okay, it's clear based on where we are in the market. We've been through, well over a year, this bear market since the collapse of the price in December 2017. I mean, 2018 is just the bear year, isn't it? The year of the bear. That's it. So, so we've survived this, but the bear market, as they say, is usually the best time to accumulate. This is the time when prices are at their lowest. Without trying to time the bottom, just be able to take opportunities here. And this is where the collective development in the industry has been increased. Actually, in any point in its history, in Bitcoin's history, in the industry's history, we've never seen this amount of development and investment with especially with the big names coming into the space and looking to be able to create either their own projects or partnership up with existing ones, have some sort of involvement directly or indirectly with blockchain technology, with cryptos, and that is, that's one of the indicators that we look for, that this industry in itself is growing exponentially, regardless of what news, whatever comes out on the daily. We see real progress being made on the ground, and actually a lot of it, a lot of the work that the media is not fully covering, obviously, all the incredible works that's been done. Is very selective, but we can see overall if you just literally look at all the players, all the investments regarding time, money, labor, any type of development that you're seeing right now, whether it's good or bad, they're actually engaging with the industry. So that also helps to give it value long term, because the comparisons are true. When you make it, when you compare it with the internet, the development of the internet, the correlation there is really spooky, guys. Tech adoption over the last 10 to 20 years, man, it's unrecognizable. Like literally, the last 5 years in itself, the amount of upgrades and launches and introductions that have happened, all these devices, all these networks and platforms, and even the jargon has continuously changes up on the daily. So, it's slowly been integrated to the real world, offline, and everything's becoming more blurred, more seamless, and frictionless. But again, we have to be careful. Like there's two camps. There's one camp that does want more regulations. They do want more traditional businesses to be involved with cryptos and blockchain. But then you have the others, the more purists, the purists and the real revolutionaries of this space, and they want to be able to keep it as decentralized as possible, limit the amount of manipulation and intrusion by big companies that are looking to basically jump on the bandwagon and monetize and profit off this culture being created and the developments in the space. But I think there's room for everyone. Me personally, I'm definitely more on the purist side. I'm looking at them with a side eye. The big businesses that are looking to jump on that really is to do with the control. Anything that promotes independence and anything that's censorship resistance, anything that gives value in some way, shape, or form to save us time, save us money, create more money, whatever the case is. But I want to see how many people are empowered by those movements. And if it's designed in a way, if it's more centralized and designed to basically just jump on the bandwagon and find ways that be able to, acquire new consumers and be able to basically diversify into a different industry so that it works as part of their overall strategy, long-term survival strategy and whatnot. And a lot of businesses have R&D budgets as well, research and development budgets. So they're always looking for ways to invest in technology, invest in processes and operations and ideas that would enable them to continue to innovate and basically get in front of the wave, be proactive, and adapt to the changing circumstances and changing environment, so they can essentially get ahead of the competition, also establish themselves, differentiate themselves from the rest of the market in any way that they can. Anything that gives them a competitive advantage, they're there basically, and it's really to do, having to make that cost benefit analysis and see if this will work. But clearly, we're seeing this, in this era, in this culture with cryptos and blockchain. It's now something that everyone has an opinion on. Almost everyone, it seems like everyone have opinion on it. There's still some people out there, millions of people that have absolutely no idea what this technology entails, but that is going to change. And so how they hear about it, how they get on board, how they invest, how they become part of the community, whether they're investor, trader, miner, even just reading and researching upon the industry and just looking at it from a distance. If it has real world impact, if it affects them in one way, shape, or form in their lives, and it's in a beneficial manner, you bet you bet that it's gonna end up opening their minds to what other developments are happening in the space as well. I mean, if you're winning doing something, it certainly would pique your interest as well. Like if you made some sort of gains from a new market in some way, shape, or form, if it's helped you in any way, of course, that's going to naturally, interest you more and want to explore further and make the process and journey a lot more enjoyable. And, a lot of people that came in the industry never had a programming background or, technology-based background. A lot of them are coming in from different industries, brand spanking. Like this is as new as you get, completely amateur, and just looking to be a student of the game and really take advantage of all the new opportunities that arises from here. So with Bitcoin in particular, so as I was saying, going back to my point, a lot of things have changed from the bull market that we saw back in 2017. So this time, the way price behaves, the way the market, the sentiment is more bullish. It's the case now is more towards the bull side, but still we're waiting because we've seen how Bitcoin has behaved before. We're still waiting to see whether there's one or two more dumps really to establish and really confirm the floor, the bottom. And that's really what the market is waiting for right now, and see, okay, is this really the bottom? Is this really the floor? And we'll know that by how the sellers behave, and if they make these moves right now. You know, this is why if you look at the numbers, I think the marginal shorts had declined by 20%. So clearly the sellers were spooked at the time because it just came out of nowhere. There was no news, no major fundamental development that triggered off that bull run. It just came out of nowhere. Because it was prime, it was ready, technically speaking, ready for a breakout or breakdown. Like usually these big movements happen after a period of consolidation. If you take a look at Bitcoin's history, you know, remember when it ranged on that 6,000 price range, that price point where that was at the time very strong support and you know, very strong floor. The amount of times, was it 6, 7, 8 times, the amount of times that it tested that 6,000 over and over and over again till it finally broke. So this is why the markets wants to see whether that 3,100 is truly the bottom, whether it's going to be 2,000, whether it's going to be, it's very, in my opinion, it's going to be highly unlikely that it will be 2,000 or 1,000. I don't think we're going to see that. If it does happen, man, stack up in. No, do what you want. No financial advice here, but I know certainly stacking up. If I see 2,000, 1,000, man, it's done. It's done. I'm gonna just be stacking up left, right, and center. But even now where we are in the market, and comparing it to, you know, some of the estimates, you know, if you price in and you consider all the things that have happened during the bear market, Bitcoin should be worth 13,000. Some people even say up to 16,000, but you know, right now it's been artificially suppressed. You know, people want it to stay. The whales and traders want it to stay as low as possible. It's in their interest to keep it in this zone so they can accumulate more. Because when the bull cycle comes through, guys, I mean, I'm pretty sure this time it will be far more exponential than the one that we've seen in 2017. So look out for that, guys. I mean, what was it? It closed on the Bitcoin weekly close was below the 50-week movement, exponential movement average. It's an indicator that is used by traders. And now it sort of signifies that there's a high probability that it could go into the red, and basically it may even go back below that 200 what do you call it, the exponential moving average, 200-day one. So if you look at on the weekly time frame, weekly and daily time frame, you'll be able to see the bigger picture where we are. So you can see price has been holding on above 3,000, 4,000, literally just you know, strong support there. And so, yeah, it is a bit concerning that it is showing on the weekly that Bitcoin is overbought. If you're a trader, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, we need to see more momentum being, we need to see that momentum continued and the volumes continue to be maintained and increase as well. So yeah, I would say it was, I think this time the market, I feel that the market's a lot more bullish than it was back in December 2017 when it did hit its all-time high, and there was a lot of mania at that point. But people were at the time as well getting concerned. Okay, you know, it's getting quite high now. When is it going to fall at any time soon? And remember, it tried to push up one more time, couldn't do it. It was still trying to maintain that 17, 18,000. Then we saw that dramatic fall. So, you know, each time the market right now, it's in a mood to jump in. Guys are absolutely excited to be able to get in as soon as they can. If this is really the beginning of a bull market, they want to be able to accumulate right now and also trade on it short term as well, and from the short-term gains, short-term pumps that happen. So each time the market pumps and tries to put in that volume and that energy in there behind it, that momentum, the bears, the whales are there, ready and waiting to just the traders just short that down. You know, take shorting positions, sell that off, and take advantage of that, of those volatility, of the volatility in the market. So yeah, we just need to see, you know, higher highs being created, Bitcoin, the volume increasing, the momentum increasing, and we need to have that confidence maintained, that sentiment maintained. So because if you know, this is it seems right now, I mean, it's given characteristics of a bull trap. So just short-term pumps, so they can trap people in, and then they can sell it off. But we will see. We've seen time and time again how Bitcoin behaves, and we're going to see if it tries to retest, go back to retest 5,000. Was it 5,800 at some point? If it, you know, tries to push through, or if it will retest 5,000. So look out for that. If it breaks 5,000, it doesn't. It's not good news, guys. But if it does hold on to where it is right now, it's currently 5,200, 5,100 and something, then that's actually going to be helpful for the bulls. And yeah, the market's just simply waiting to see if there's going to be another correction, and how, you know, sharp that will be, how, you know, how much that will fall by, whether it'll be triggering off sell orders as well, sell stops, and sort of a trigger of like a snowball, like an avalanche. So we will see at that point. But I like the fact that the bulls are holding steady and establishing some sort of support where they are right now. So it's like incremental progress. And yeah, there's still, you know, relative confidence at some point we're going to rally and go towards that 6,000, because the market is expecting that 6K to be. Remember how long it's been acting as a support in 2018. That's why it's now old support turned to, and it's going to be turned into a new resistance. So what was I going to say? So we have to wait for certain things to happen in the market, and looking at the number of marginal shorts will give us a bit of a clue as well. So if we start seeing BTC USD shorts increasing, then we can confidently say, okay, it looks like it's going to correct down, and we don't know whether it'll be 5,000 or whether it'll be even worse than that. But it does look if you look at the weekly time frame, that there might be a strong trend reversal, and see that means the number of shorts in the market will go back up again. So we're not safe, if there's such a word as safe. I don't think there is. When it's not confirmed until I see it go beyond that 6K. I can't confidently say it's fully, but I can't say it's bullish. Okay, we might see some uptrend, some patterns that and especially with transactions and volumes in the market. And if you look at what happened over the last few months, we can deduce some sort of conclusion from that. But just the way in the past Bitcoin has behaved when it reaches these crucial areas is very it's very hard to say confidently what's about to happen in the short term. Long term, for sure. Long term, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's a wrap. Like it's done and dusted. Just in my opinion here, meaning that I fully expect it to go parabolic. I fully expect it to be worth beyond 300,000, but give it a few more years, 2023 maybe, and 2020 I definitely, next year for sure. I mean, just based on what I'm seeing, I can't see how we would, if we're not already in the beginning of a bull market, I cannot see how we won't be able to be in a position where we take advantages of certain developments in the market. And then you have the Bitcoin halving event as well, that will play a part in that as well. So I think at some point next year, it may be more momentum. It'll be something like an extra push basically that will set the market off too. But right now, we're still waiting for several things, several announcements to come from the SEC and other regulators around the world, and lawmakers as well, in DC, in London and other European cities. We're just waiting to see how the governments will look to shape this, their stance and policies towards the market. So of course that will have an impact on the price as well. But don't be fooled, guys. On the ground, a lot of work has been done and continues. A lot of these big players have already been making their moves. So I think it's just a case of people waking up to the fact, if they understand the way market behaves. Right now, it's evident that these whales or traders looking to keep price artificially depressed and take advantage of this historical point where I believe we're not going to see these kind of prices again. Just based on the developments alone, I don't think it's going to return back to these points. So if we ever get an opportunity to go back to 2000, 1000, I'm never ever, I'm saying this 100, I doubt very much that we're going to be staying in that area for, I don't even think it'll last a day or two, to be honest with you. That we've seen how if you look at how how support has been reacted and maintained in Bitcoin in the industry, you'll be able to see there's still levels where the market is just this. It seems it's very difficult to get to with this level of development as well. It's just I can't say, I hate to say that, I don't want to say impossible, guys, but it's just the probabilities of it going down to those levels again, man, it's gonna. So if it happens, it's because the market makers are looking to push it back one more time, get a good accumulation going, and then it will pop off. I don't see how it'll be maintained, even if it was that zone. I don't see it lasting for long. So, I mean, all eyes on Bitcoin, right? Like Tupac, all eyes on me, all eyes on Bitcoin. So yeah, it's not out of the woods yet, guys. Just please take obviously due diligence and precautions, as I'm assuming you do. And yeah, just in my opinion, just stack up. I certainly will. If it goes down to those price points, I'm already accumulating, but if it goes down even lower, accumulate some more. So yeah, it's a great time right now, certainly in the market in terms of developments and stuff. You know, this is a great time to be alive and to be an investor in this space, to be a pioneer and help help to drive adoption and awareness. Excuse me. So yeah, and then in terms on the developments, Accenture, they're a global consulting company. They've decided to add 2 more patents to their arsenal. So 2 more solutions, this time for blockchain interoperability. So, you know, in terms of trying to find ways to, like, you can have participant shared token data stored on the blockchain, and they digital signature within the solution. And to be able to have like a multi-signature certification message to anyone that wants more information, for example. And then, you know, the receiver can verify the digital signatures as well using private keys. So they're able to find any ways that could bring efficiencies and security to their network, to their blockchain. And anything, remember we've been talking about interoperability before, for quite some time actually, one of the free keys protocols, interoperability. Yeah, so smart solutions, what was I going to say? In this case with smart contracts, it has this pre-committed authorization aspect of it. So you can actually lock the token data on the blockchain whilst you wait for confirmation from the receiver. And so this is, you know, anything that helps, like I said, with efficiency. So this is really to help to get to make it more seamless in terms of usability. And that's one of the main benefits of using this technology. So yeah, so with Accenture, this is not their first time in the game. Also IBM, IBM, who else was it? Ripple as well. Consensus, they decided to work together to collaborate and join the International Association of Trusted Blockchain Applications as well. And that was, I think, started by the EU, European Union. And basically the idea is just to have blockchain and, you know, distributed ledger technology be adopted, go into the mainstream. And so when you have big companies working together like this and then working on their own projects, looking to push that, you know, awareness and looking to increase network effects for the long term, it's really trying to find ways they'd be able to, you know, have all the economies of scale and be able to pull their influence and resources together to find ways that they can basically win. It's a win-win situation for all. And as I said before, anything that helps to reduce costs, increase efficiencies, increase the customer base, client base, and help and help make their processes and operations better than what they had before, in a way that's not detrimental to their revenue or anything like that. It's a good thing. And so really is just the core of it is efficiencies, the gains that they get from this. Yeah, it's what do you call it? With IBM, it was to do with using decentralized technology to manage data and interactions for self-driving vehicles as well, for autonomous vehicles. Yeah, again, IBM is prolific when it comes to patents. I think it's up there with the amount of patents it's registered to do with blockchain. So yeah, guys, I'm coming up to, well, I think I've just passed my time now, but at the end of the day, where we are in the market and price-wise, and with some of the things that we've witnessed over the year during the bear market, I mean, even companies like Fidelity, that made that literally had a ripple effect, and to know that we have all this collective heads up, right? We have this, I feel like it's basically like a warning to, not warning, just being, you know what, like a little bit of hindsight. They say hindsight is 2020. I feel like we are just seeing all the different initiatives and policies and proposals being introduced. I feel like a lot more developments have been done, a lot of more agreements and consensus have been established. Some of the stuff that we are not aware of right now, I think they've already studied that, made a decision on that. They've already put their money and their time behind that. So things that come out in the news and any announcements and any things that they start, or if they give us a timeline of when they're going to launch and begin the process, or plans for expansion or anything like that, it really is giving us well, it's given the market like a call. I can't say call to arms. It's more like some sort of not warning. I hate that word. It has negative connotations, but yeah, it's giving us clues. That's the word I was looking for. It's giving us clues, and those are the clues that you look for as an investor, a long-term investor. That is, you look for clues to see, okay, are these groups of businesses, groups of people, investors, consumers, are they actually engaging? Are they finding ways to collaborate and find ways to be able to share data, share value, share information, and be able to find ways to make that ecosystem stronger? And because if you look at the works, if you look at the developments that happened during the internet era in the 90s, very similar patterns, you know, very similar situations are repeating themselves. They're happening. History is rhyming. And so a lot of the mistakes and the challenges that a lot of, you know, tech companies faced at that time, we're seeing this sort of area right now where we are in the market. It's clear, it's sort of established itself, like it knows this is here to stay in one way, shape, or form. And you can tell by the language they use, the investments they make. I mean, we have to look at the actions they take more importantly rather than what they say. But we are at a point in time right now where we are like, we've been given this hindsight. In a way, I see it as hindsight. And using all these collective clues and indications, that there is clear progress being made on the ground. And this is it. This is timing is everything, as they say. But if you have already started to take action and take advantage of the opportunity now, even during the bear market over the last year or so, if you've started taking action now as a long-term investor, you're basically setting yourself up, in my opinion, because I'm, super bullish on the space long term. You're setting yourself up, you're setting your portfolio up. It has to be diversified and allocated in a way that is, that strategy, depending on your risk profile. With this particular asset class and this technology, with it being disruptive and many factors at play that affects its adoption and growth and whatnot, it's very clear now that many industries, many niches, there's a lot more fragmentation happening, a lot more maturity in the market, and we're finding that is culturally as well. Culturally, it's becoming more and more accepted. So this level of integration, where we are in the market right now, market cycle, this level of integration, adoption, innovation, all these things are coming together. All these trends and patterns that we're seeing, there's confluences confirming long term this is going on in an upward trajectory, and that just too many things have already gone down. Too many developments have happened. I don't think you can, in my opinion, put millions of genies back in the bottle. So for me, it's a case of like, okay, this is the time to go. This is the time to do it. Time to take advantage of where we are in the market. And so when opportunity meets preparation, and due diligence, and you're finally getting to the point where, okay, my patience and my resilience is going to be rewarded some way, shape, or form, within the next few years. You don't think, okay, what's going to happen within the next few months. You literally think in terms of years as a long-term investor. So you're already seeing all these developments and thinking, how, like, worst case scenario, how could all of these progress that we've made, all of these collective progress and developments, how can you then pretend that never happened, and that we didn't really see the gains, we didn't see the efficiencies, we didn't see it's just making a very strong case right now for the bulls long term, for the investors, the hodlers long term, that we're just going to continue building on that foundation, that in fact the amount of progress will be compressed, the time it takes, it will be compressed, because we've already established some of the foundation, the infrastructure. I'm talking about internet, and then on top of that you have developments in the field of in the IoT, artificial intelligence, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning capabilities, and Web 3.0. Literally everything is coming together. Several confluences happening. Different trends confirming that there's several shifts happening at the same time, and we are right now where we are price point and where we are development wise, we're in the right space, the right place, and right time. So for me, I'm looking at this from a long-term point of view, and just focusing on the fact that it's becoming more adopted, more integrated. The infrastructures, the collective ecosystems and infrastructure and networks and platforms being built. And also I look for a level of interoperability, where blockchains and different networks communicate and have protocols they can speak to each other and communicate in a way that makes things seamless and easy to use, and long-term drive down costs as well. So people coming in that are brand new, looking at this in a different way than people that have actually gone through the entire, the entire bear market and seen price not only collapse from that 20,000 to now, but a lot of the scams, a lot of the ICOs that were out there, a lot of this, the FOMO, that mania, that euphoria. There's a stage in the market cycle called euphoria. To get to the point where we go down and experience capitulation and despair, and then finally, we see accumulation and recovery. That is a lot more valuable as an investor to go through the bear market and then see the come up, rather than just come in right at the beginning and not having that experience of what it's like to go through that. Because now it puts you in a very strong, mentally speaking and financially speaking, it puts you in a very strong stead, a strong position to then take advantages of future developments that happen. In a way, you're getting ahead of the curve, if you understand, in terms of like the technology adoption cycle, and where we are in it right now, and how that's been backed up by the collective developments and progress being made, and investments in infrastructure and solutions that help to bring in more participants in the market. And so this is where we are right now. Watch out for those prices short term, but really, if you're looking to as a long-term investor in the technology, in the space, and have real interest in it, this is it. This is the I can't think of a better time, me personally, to be accumulating Bitcoin and some other projects with real world use cases. So it's a great time to be alive, as you guys can tell. We've got a lot of opportunities that is presented in this space. But I think we're going to see especially within the next few years, things take a positive turn, and really get the conversation going again. If you remember during Thanksgiving, during what was it? Can't remember now. November 2017, right? And all the talk at the time was, Bitcoin and cryptos and whatnot. And people were buying, cryptos as gifts, Thanksgiving gifts, and then Christmas gifts and whatnot. But yeah, this is we're going to get to the stage where more and more people will be engaging in it, accepting it, and finding different ways of increasing adoption rates. Network effect will increase. Payment networks will increase, in my opinion, because based on the numbers that we're seeing already. I see, as long as they're working on scalability, where they'd be able to handle a lot more transactions and be able to build systems and networks that are able to capable of taking on board all the potential new clients, new customers and traders that are going to be using their tokens and their systems, their networks. Then yeah, from what I'm seeing, excuse me, from what I'm seeing, by and large, the metrics that we use to give us indication of market sentiment, and also the trajectory, forecasted trajectory of Bitcoin and other cryptos, and the space as well in general, with the technology, with the adoption of blockchain, having some level of decentralization in their projects, and patents being filed regarding increasing efficiencies in their processes in companies, in companies, what do you call it, in their daily operations. And as long as we continue to see that level of development happening on the ground, price will eventually catch up to the true value of the industry, of the space. So that total market cap, I definitely believe, one way, shape, or form, is going to be worth in its trillions. I said trillions, not billions, trillions total market cap. And we'll see if Bitcoin still holds its dominant position. But I'm sure at the time, I do feel from what I'm seeing that it will be a lot, there'll be a lot more competition, a lot more fragmented areas and niches. So that's one of the things I'm looking for: scalability, interoperability protocols. Yeah, and real world use case. See how much they'll be able to solve these problems and put it out there in a practical way, in a tangible way that people can easily use and be able to transfer wherever they can. So it has to be more seamless and more seamless, frictionless, censorship resistant, and you know, as low cost as possible. So transaction fees is definitely going to be one area that the market will be watching out for. Any platforms that have ways that would be able to reduce that for traders and for people that participate in speculation and arbitrage. And long-term investors will definitely be looking to see how they'll be looking for projects that are viable long-term and looking for real-world use cases. So, and strong fundamentals. So with that, I definitely got to go. It's an hour and 21 minutes. I definitely over my time, but thank you very much, and stay tuned. I think I will see you on Friday and give you a rundown of the market at that point. But thank you very much, guys. Peace out, and have a fantastic week. Cheers.